This has been an extremely long 2 weeks between videos. I must apologize for the long delay, and also thank my loyal subscribers, all 8 of you, for sticking around. Basically, I had a medical issue that came up. Now, even though I did everything I was supposed to do to stay healthy, according to the experts, I became one of those breakthrough cases. Yeah, I get COVID-19. Boy, did I get knocked for a loop. But there's something else. Even though I recovered, so to speak, there's something called long-haul COVID. And this can last a long, long time. Now, the experts don't even know that much about long-haul COVID, except what to name it. Basically, long-haul COVID are the after effects, which can vary from mild to severe muscle aches, joint pains, shortness of breath, fatigue, and God knows what else. Talk about winning the wrong lottery number. So, that is the reason why I didn't post any new videos in a while. But enough of that. Let's get into today's video. The inscription on the monument reads, "In memory of Archie Mitchell, age 26, Dick Patska, age 14, Jason Gifford, age 13, Edward Engine, age 13, John Patsky, age 13, Sherman Shoemaker, age 11, who died here May 5th, 1945, by a Japanese bomb explosion, only place on the American continent where death resulted from action during World War II. This is a little-known footnote in our history, a little-known monument in southern Oregon, about 10 miles east of Bly, Oregon, erected in the Fremont-Winema National Forest, located in Lake County, Oregon, to commemorate the deaths of 5 civilians killed by Japanese balloon bombs. The only other signs of war are the shrapnel-damaged trees." Now, the genesis for the Japanese balloon bomb can be traced back to the Doolittle raid of April 18, 1942. The raid itself caused minimal damage. However, it forced the Japanese to realize their country was vulnerable to attack. The 9th Military Technical Research Institute was given the job of bombing America in retaliation. Now, their solution? Drop bombs from balloons. The balloon bombs were launched from Japanese submarines off the west coast of America. The operation wasn't as successful as they had hoped, and the Japanese Navy decided they wanted their submarines back because they had a better use for them. You know, sinking ships. Well, the Japanese Army refused to give up. They were determined to make this idea work. They continued with Operation Fugo, and with the cooperation of Japan's meteorological services, the plans moved forward to bomb the continental United States with balloons. That's right, balloons. The problem was, it could take up to 6 days for a balloon to cross the Pacific Ocean and reach the west coast of the United States. That is, if it could actually stay aloft during the 6-day flight. Now, by November of 1944, the United States Army Air Force had begun the bombing of the home islands of Japan. Now, they were using the B-29 bomber. B-29 was a strategic bomber that had been in development since May 1940. It had a bombing range of 3,250 miles, and it could carry a max bomb load of 10 tons. Japanese Imperial Air Force didn't have anything comparable in its inventory. So, desperate to rain terror down in the United States, the Japanese came up with the brilliant idea of utilizing the phenomenon of the jet stream. Now, unknown to the United States and basically the rest of the world, there was a phenomenon called the jet stream. This was first detected in the 1920s. Japanese meteorologist Wasaburo Oishi detected the jet stream from a site near Mount Fuji. He tracked pilot balloons to determine upper-level wind speeds as they rose into the atmosphere. Oishi's work went largely unnoticed outside of Japan. Desperate to attack the continental U.S., the Japanese would utilize the jet stream to get a balloon above 30,000 feet. The balloon could then make it across the 5,000 plus miles of the Pacific Ocean in 3 days. This phenomenon made the Fugo balloon a viable weapon. Now, the Japanese developed a complex system of barometers to maintain altitude, small explosive charges to drop the ballast, and a time release mechanism to drop the bombs over the continental United States, hoping to start forest fires. Now, the technical development and deployment of these paper balloon bombs goes beyond the scope of this video. There are a number of excellent videos on the internet and YouTube that discuss the development of these bombs. This video is looking at the number of bombs that were released over the continental United States and how many are still unaccounted for. That's right, unaccounted for. Now, the Japanese Fugo program was only viable during the winter months between November 44 and April 45, when the speed of the jet stream was at its maximum. Japan launched 9,000 of these paper balloon bombs. That's right, 9,000. Now, it is estimated by various sources that only 10% of the bombs made it to the North American continent. They landed as far south as Mexico and as far north as Alaska. Some fell short and landed in the Pacific Ocean, while others dropped in Hawaii. One went as far as Michigan. Sightings of these bombs began as soon as they arrived over North America. The Smithsonian Magazine stated in their May 22, 2019 article, quote, "There has been some warning signs, apparitions scattered around the western United States that were largely unexplained, at least to the general public. Flashes of light, sounds of explosion, and the discovery of mysterious fragments all amounted to little concrete information to the goings-on." Well, the U.S. government picked up pretty quickly, and they immediately conducted an investigation. By analyzing the paper materials of the balloons and the sand from the ballast bags, the U.S. military determined that the balloon bombs came from Japan. They were even able to pinpoint the area in Japan where the balloons were released. Realizing the seriousness of these sightings and the subsequent explosion, the U.S. military ordered a news blackout to keep the Japanese from finding out that their Fugo bombs were actually reaching the North American continent. Now, the Air Corps was able to bomb the sites into rubble. That took care of any more balloon bombs coming to America. But what about the ones that were already sent over? The government began cataloging all the bombs, the ones they could find, that made it to the continent. As stated previously, the government estimated that only 10% of these balloon bombs made it to the continent. Well, simple math suggests that number to be about 900. Now, the Tactical Air Intelligence Center Report number 41, published in May of 1945, listed all known balloon bombs that were reported. A total of 229 bombs were found. That leaves over 771 balloon bombs that could have landed along the west coast and the hinterlands, but were never discovered. Now, with the war over, the balloon bombs were quickly forgotten. However, since the end of World War II, these balloon bombs have been popping up all over the west coast of the North American continent. In January 20th, 2015, article titled "Beware of Balloon Bombs." Iowa National Public Radio stated, in 1984, the Santa Cruz Sentinel noted that Bert Weber, an author and researcher, had located 45 balloon bombs in Oregon, 37 in Alaska, 28 in Washington, 25 in California. One bomb fell in Medford, Oregon. Weber said it just made a big hole in the ground. Okay then, that accounts for only 111 bombs. That still leaves a possible 660 bombs, approximately, still undiscovered, just waiting to explode. I don't think anybody knows the true number. I'm sure some of these bombs were exploded when some unfortunate bear came across the remnants of the bombs and decided to paw at it. That still leaves quite a lot of unaccounted bombs. The most recent balloon bomb discoveries were in 2014 and 2019. Now, the website warfarehistorynetwork.com basically stated, loggers discovered an unexploded bomb in Lumbee, British Columbia, 200 miles northeast of Vancouver. A Royal Navy bomb disposal team safely detonated it in place. The Rocky Mountain Goat reported in 2019 the remains of another balloon bomb were found near McBride, British Columbia, in October. It was found by a hunter looking for mountain goats in the east central British Columbia wilderness. The evidence of a small fire nearby suggested that the bomb may have started the fire. Bomb self-detonated at some point. That find was just over 2 years ago. To date, the only people killed by these balloon bombs were Archie Mitchell and the 5 children listed on the monument erected in Fremont-Wenema National Forest. However, the more years that pass, the less people will remember the balloon bombs of 1944 and 1945. Could this be a tragedy just waiting to happen? I don't know about you, but I would be a little concerned if I came across a weird-looking object in the middle of nowhere. Or even worse, the bomb is buried. Imagine you're pitching your tent, and the tent stake you are driving into the ground makes contact with a 75-plus-year-old Japanese balloon bomb, where loggers drop a huge 100-foot tree, and it lands on one of those bombs. Talk about having a bad day. Now, the after effects of World War I and World War II are still being dealt with to this day worldwide. In England and Germany, they're still finding unexploded bombs from the Second World War. Heck, in Flanders, French farmers are still plowing up unexploded munitions from the First World War. They basically pile them inside the road and they come around and pick it up. Now, there's a story of a French woman who was standing on her patio and the ground went out from underneath her. She had fallen into a World War I underground dugout. You can find that one on YouTube. Now, there's an interesting footnote to this story. Archie Mitchell's husband, Reverend Archie Mitchell, remarried sometime in 1947. His wife was the older sister of 2 of the children killed in the bomb explosion. Now, her name was Betty TAIC. Now, the couple became missionaries and went to Vietnam to work in a leper colony. On the night of May 30th, 1962, Archie Mitchell and 2 other missionaries were taken captive by the Viet Cong. Betty Mitchell was allowed to remain with her 4 children at the missionary compound. The South Vietnamese government tracked the movements of Mitchell, but despite the efforts of the Vietnamese government, the U.S. government, and the missionary group Mitchell worked for, Archie Mitchell was never seen from again. Basically, he's presumed dead. Now, Archie Mitchell, unfortunately, has become an oddity of history. His first wife and 5 children from his Sunday school class were killed by a Japanese bomb dropped from a paper balloon after traveling 5,000 plus miles across the Pacific. 17 years later, he's taken hostage while ministering to the people with leprosy in a Vietnamese leper colony and never heard from again. Reverend Archie Mitchell has become a small part of our historical tapestry. This is our history. This is our heritage. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you can be notified when new content is uploaded. I post new videos every 2 weeks, barring long haul COVID. Anyways, thank you for watching.